fine.
Hi, I'm Jameson Newlander, Alan Frog from the Lost Boys, and you're watching the Frog Brothers podcast.
It's refreshment time, folks.
I'm just gonna go watch a movie.
Do you like scary movies?
I don't watch movies.
I have to return some videotapes.
You have a TV?
No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. Don't need a TV.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.
Over 1,600 titles, each for rent at just $2 the first night, and only
Finish it. I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you are aware that there's an invention called television, and on this invention they show shows, right?
It's a Laserdisc.
Okay, I want channels 18, 24, 63, 109, 87, and Weather Channel.
Welcome to the Frog Brothers podcast with your hosts, Justin and Alec.
Execute episode 66.
It's Yoda getting blown.
Yeah. That's an interesting way to start things.
The balls you must cup.
Coming, I'm about to.
Oh, yes.
Swallow, you must. Wink your butthole, you must. I'm gonna go to hell when I die. I'm gonna go to hell when I die.
Pretty much.
Hey, welcome to episode 66 of the Frog Brothers podcast. I'm Justin. This is Alec. And this little critter over here is Nicholas. Nick, producer boy, errand boy.
Only 600 more episodes and we'll be 666.
Oh, we're 600 episodes shy away of being Satanists.
Yay.
Yeah, baby.
That'll be a party. We're going to get there, though, too. So don't you worry about that. So, anything good in the news this week?
That's only 11 and a half years.
Dead air.
Yeah, thanks for the awkwardness.
2032, guys.
2032, guys,
or 2033.
2032 and an 8? When the hell is 2032 and an 8?
Wait a minute. Does it say that in the Bible?
What's in the news?
In the news, so one of our Midland Empire Ghostbusters members was at the Walmarts and found that they have some of the Afterlife cake toppers available, the little pretty sheets you can have put on your cake.
Who found
Fucking A, man.
Yep.
Who found that?
Jacob. Jacob.
Pretty sweet.
Who will be celebrating his birthday this Saturday.
I want to get a cake like that.
I'm assuming he's got that.
Happy birthday, Jacob.
I'll just have to see if they can sell me that if it's not using any animal products. Put on my own fucking cake.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Walmart's going to be the type that has...
Vegan options?
Yeah, vegan cake.
I don't know.
Well,
they like money.
Not that much.
You know what I did this week? I watched The Lost Boys deleted scenes.
And what'd you learn?
Nothing really. They were deleted for a reason. There wasn't anything super incredible where I was like, oh my god, I can't believe that's a deleted scene.
Yeah.
There was not a lot of interesting stuff on there. However, the other special features on there are very interesting on the Blu-ray if you have not perused them. I also watched a lot of them. There's a bunch of little docu-series type things.
Maybe if you had invited us over, we could have watched it with you.
I mean, this is like 3 a.m.
Yeah, he's up
home
those
from
hours.
I'm up.
Film set shit.
I don't know if I want to drive across the Casey Metro to get here, but at 3 a.m.
Why? No traffic?
Not
And
unless
you
you're
can
getting laid.
Snuggle Alec all you want. Nick's a bottom. You'll be fine.
Power bottom.
Yeah, that's
Get it
fine.
right.
You guys do what you need to do. You guys got your OnlyFans. So, we're just going to jump right into content because I didn't really fucking pay attention to news
I was
this
also going to say that we did an interview Jameson Newlander last week. If you didn't check that out yet, it's on our YouTube. You can watch the interview, or it's on our podcast feed. You can just listen to it, but I recommend watching it because you can see us smile and fall in love with a much older man. Not the first time this has happened, of course. Last time, wait, I guess I shouldn't talk about that.
Billy, you ever seen a grown man naked?
No, he's great. That interview was awesome. Check it out. They're possibly working on a Frog Boys. Well, podcast.
Is it a prequel?
That's going to be we'll do a comic prequel on it.
So the Frog Babies, it's like Muppet Babies.
Frog Brothers Babies.
In a comic book form, that'd be kind of fun to see them meet a vampire for the first time.
So anyway, yeah, check that out.
Yeah.
I also subscribed to Shudder this week, and I've been watching a bunch of Last Drive-In.
Nice.
Shudder
Fucking
is
rules.
great. Yeah.
Enjoyed that quite a bit. I watched Jack Frost for the first time, which we're going to be covering probably this December, I've decided, because it fucking ruled.
Oh,
you watched the horror one?
I can't remember if I have or not. I want to say I know.
Shannon Elizabeth is in that.
No shit.
Yeah.
In the horror one?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And she's like very almost naked. Like there's an extensive sequence where she's in the bathtub and then the water starts to freeze while she's in it. And the guy, well, I won't spoil it for you, but there is definitely snowman rape in this movie with his carrot nose.
His carrot nose.
Yeah. So anyway, besides that, I guess we'll move on to one of our old segments, which we haven't done in just a little bit.
Water cooler, cold, cold. Water cooler, cold, cold. Water cooler, cold, cold. Water cooler, cold, cold. Water cooler, join the cold, cold. Water cooler, join the cold, cold. Water cooler, drink it out. Water cooler, join the water cooler, cold.
The series is Loki.
Yes.
The source is Disney Plus. The erections are valid.
Wow.
So we screwed up and we didn't cover the first episode last week, so we're going to cover...
We're doing a twofer. Definitely a 2-for-1.
And I wrote almost no notes down, but...
Yeah, we kind of talked through the second episode, so...
Yeah. I think it's just like the other series where it's a little slow going at first and it's going to get good.
Yeah. With the TV series, you have to do some building, right? Story building that... You kind of accelerate that a little bit in a movie.
I still think it's kind of interesting, though. Maybe more interesting than the start of the other shows because of all the...
Well, yeah, the first one was
weird
very
stuff
interesting.
going
The
on.
second one kind of had a slow build. Again, I'd have to watch it again, too, because we got distracted, but...
Yeah, I'll definitely rewatch.
Well, episode 2 kicks into it a little bit more, but episode 1, we really just kind of get the foundation of the show, right? They explain the TVA, what they are, kind of get that background information and why Loki's there and how they usually just kill variants. And they're just like, yeah. That episode and like the TVA just gave me Blade Runner vibes.
Oh, yeah, for sure, because there's somebody hunting down somebody that's a variant or...
Yeah, and even the costumes for some of that stuff kind of had those vibes. So I like that throwback. And then Owen Wilson's great in this role, right? He's not quite as high-pitched and obnoxious, but he's still like the classic Owen Wilson, so he's doing a good job. Yeah.
Old and Wilson.
Yeah, Old and Wilson. Oldie Wilson.
Wow.
Nick's over here ignoring us and texting, so good job.
I'm not texting.
Good job, producer boy.
Yeah. It looks very retro future. Late 70s, early 80s, even 60s sometimes, and 50s influences in there.
Yeah, I like the old school vibe the TVA has for their technology, even though it's very advanced, right? It looks very old school just with the colors, the shapes of all the pieces in there, so that's really fun to see that that's mixed with everything, which I think ties back well to WandaVision, right? With some of the throwback episodes of you seeing those old things on there, so
yeah,
I like how there's a little bit of growth between there. And then you obviously get
I've got a growth between here.
No, you don't. If you got cancer, we should get it removed.
I killed me.
So long
that was a good timing on that one.
He's like, where is it?
Where is it?
I actually almost used just a genuine laugh track, but I thought it'd be funnier to use one where it's implies that somebody's full of himself and not actually being funny.
I kill me.
Did you...
That's weird that you played that one right after we mentioned cancer. So
did you find your smoke weed every day clip? Or
no,
figure out why it disappeared?
It's gone off of here for some reason.
Uh-oh. He lost it to the abyss.
Yeah, maybe...
You didn't replace it yet?
Maybe Dr. Dre came after me and just deleted it off my computer.
Probably. They're probably like, we're just going to erase this one here. So Loki episode 1, what was the key moment for you on that one?
Loki.
It was Loki, my favorite Loki moment in Loki.
What's the key that made it Loki your favorite Loki?
That was an actual question, but if you don't have any content, you stall because you weren't actually paying attention, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But nice try.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Good job. Nice job doing your homework.
Oh, you're so cool, Brewster.
But
Is that from Punky Brewster?
You don't know what movie that's from?
Not off the top of my head.
Christ.
It's only a fucking vampire-themed movie, you dumb bastard. It's from fucking Fright Night.
That's
you
right.
Stupid bastard.
I couldn't think of the name of it.
You dumb bastard.
I knew it wasn't from Punky
Fright
Brewster.
Night is a vampire movie, you stupid bastard.
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to rewatch these again. But the first one, I liked all the moments where he's being processed and stuff. All those were cool. I wish there was a little more depth within those, but not like boring depth, just like more interesting shit. I also had. It's like if fucking Martin Scorsese did Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. Like dark and grittier version of that, where it's like this space and like lots of out there new concepts being introduced into Marvel.
Yeah.
That are further able to advance the plots of the overall arc.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this series that's really going to be needed to go forward. So
I've already said multiverse 100 times in this first episode.
Oh, yeah, they're just trying to explain it for people that aren't ready for that shit yet. Your kids are going to love it, though.
I have that somewhere.
Yeah, because the kids are going to have to explain this to their parents. They're like, no, you don't understand the multiverse. I do like the little time winders that Owen Wilson's using a lot. Just sending them back to the... What are you...
Guess you guys aren't ready for that.
I couldn't find it.
He's high and slow.
Oh, man. Me on the soundboard.
So no, the time winder's funny because when he kept fucking with Loki when Loki tried to charge him and he'd do that, and then he took the collar off and put it on the guard later. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Episode 2 is pretty fun. I like how you're kind of building that Loki is aware and finally admits that he doesn't enjoy killing. You know, he's just kind of playing the role of like what he's expected to be.
Yeah. I was saying like this guy's basically Loki's like time therapist.
Exactly. He is. Yeah. And I like how at the end of episode 1, Loki like winds up going back into that room just because he's fucked around enough. He doesn't have anywhere else to go, so he just goes back to where he escaped from, which is like so unlike Loki, which is amazing just to see him in there.
Yeah.
And then in episode, what is it? The end of 1 where he sees his death at the hands of Thanos and everything like that, and then he sees that he's killed his mother, like all this stuff in the future that this variant has no idea about, and you know, because you got to make this Loki have some of the charisma that dead Loki had by the time he was leaving the MCU. So, you know, you're doing a lot of legwork to kind of make that make sense, you know, within a couple episodes. So by the end of episode 2, you're much more on path with the Loki that actually left the MCU. So,
yeah. I had a good time watching this show.
Yeah, you had no idea what you were watching.
No, like the second episode we were just talking throughout, so I can't recall. There was like the supermarket scene that I remember.
Yeah, so there's a certain candy that they got to cross-reference because they basically discover that they're hiding out in the variant's hiding out in post-apocalyptic scenes because it doesn't throw off any bad vibes from the radar because they go back and test it that, you know, nothing changes when, you know, an area is already doomed. So, like, you can fuck with the timeline, but since everyone's going to die anyway, it doesn't matter. Like, it's a catastrophic event. So,
fun.
I thought that was a pretty interesting way to do that. And then you see that they find out where this candy's at, and so they, you know, talk about some, like, flood or tornado scenario or hurricane or whatever, and they go back, or they go into the future for this scenario. And, you know, you kind of finally get revealed that it's a female Loki that's going in there.
Hot.
It changes, and she's jumping form to fuck with people and talk to, you know,
she is.
Tom. Regular Loki.
Tom. His name's Tom Loki.
Tom Ace.
Tom Brokaw.
Alrighty then.
Well, that was really successful.
That was
good.
there's going to be somebody who's like stoked. They're like, oh, these guys are talking about Loki. That's cool. I'm going to listen to this. And they'll be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like these motherfuckers. Did anyone besides Justin watch that?
I smoked 2 blunts while I was watching 2 episodes of Loki.
Pretty good attention to the first episode.
To be fair, I showed up as
Justin
they
got
were
here.
watching the end of episode 1, and then I started setting up, and everyone just kind of started chatting as we were going, and I already watched these by myself, so I was good to go.
Holy shit!
Hallelujah! Where's the Tylenol?
Where's the Tylenol?
All right, so
let's
that's Loki. We'll have these guys rewatch, and kind of by episode 3, they better be caught up and well versed.
I have a segment for you.
All right, what's the segment?
This segment is called
Another man's garbages, another man's gold.
Nick stick things up his ass to give himself pleasure.
Another man's garbage.
We're doing Club Dread.
Club Dread.
Shut the fuck up, Nick.
Brought to you by the year
Interrupt me, you son of a
2004.
bitch.
The Broken Lizard Comedy Troupe.
Which one has better ratings on?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Because they're both pretty low. Scooby Doo was pretty low.
Haha, Scooby Doo has 2% higher than this piece of trash.
Does it?
Which has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It would still
Yeah,
be.
I fucking
man's
loved
garbage.
Club Dread. I saw that in theaters when it came out.
Yeah,
Like, oh, it's the guys that did Super Troopers, and Super Troopers I obviously didn't see in theaters. That was one of those, like, hey, you've got to see this, when it was obviously a cult film at that point. Like,
Yeah, I saw it for the first time at home as well. I mean, I was also fucking a child, so. But I was like, holy shit, this is.
That was back in the day when I couldn't afford, my first or second, well, shit, maybe that was even my third apartment, but either way. But just when you're like out there living on your own and you're like, okay, I can't afford cable, but I'm going to buy some cheap DVDs every now and again, so I got a good deal on that probably at Walmart. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 2004. That's when this came out. I was 13 years old.
This is a great horror movie type spoof, man. Like, it gets all the vibes right. And it makes sense that this came out after Scooby Doo.
This is a great horror comedy because it doesn't try to spoof the horror itself too much. Because, like, the beginning scene, it feels very much like a fucking Friday the 13th or something.
The beginning of it could be a Friday the 13th movie. It's hands down, like, it's just well lit on an island, but the vibes are all there. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, there's actually...
And they're in the woods and they're doing
tornadoes
all
and titties.
Like cliches with the weed and the sex.
Scene with the fucking girl grabbing the blade.
Falling
like, that's
off the
fucking
cliff,
horrifying, yeah.
Yeah, you know how bad that would hurt, like, as you fall to your death, like, just slicing through your fingers like
yeah,
that?
it makes me cringe.
That bugged me more than anything, just that.
Oh, yeah, that's real gore right there. I need that body gore that really makes you uncomfortable to watch. Like, you can slash somebody
you can
open. We've all
feel
seen that a
that,
million times.
There's a little bit of the dialogue
cut your
when
hand before.
they're in the cave, though.
There's a lot of good dialogue.
No, I heard something, she says. And he says, was it a strange sucking sound?
Yeah, that guy's great.
Yeah.
Fucking awful.
Murdered.
Hey, what about my nipples?
I like how there's all of a sudden, like, menacing shots where they try to make you think that everybody's the killer, too.
Oh, yes, the whole fucking movie.
love those.
That's so great. Like, every time they introduce somebody new, like, they show, like, how they're the killer.
Yeah, like, it's great.
It's beautiful. Beautiful. Well done.
And also, let's talk about one of the best actors ever. Rip to my man, Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton is Coconut Pete.
Pina Coladas,burg, baby.
Yep. And I love in the moment in the movie when he gets fucking super pissed at the girl, like, play Margaritaville. And he's like, God damn it, I was 4 years ahead of that fucking song.
Yeah.
Totally fucking pissed off and gets up because it kills his vibe.
Fucking Coconut Pete, baby.
Yep.
He's a legend. He makes this movie, too. Like, he doesn't... It's almost like he is just an extra little treat that's inserted in there. You forget he's there every now and then. You're like, yes.
Well, he
is.
gives the purpose behind why the island is what it is, and, like, he's just great in that role, even though it's not a large role.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, you're super fucking bummed out when you find out that he's fucking dead. You're like, God damn it.
Me
I was
too.
really enjoying his character. Like, I want to see what else he could do in this stuff.
Yeah.
And they do throw some tropes in there, like, what's her name? Jordan Ladd as Penelope, as he calls her.
Penelope.
He grabs her
Penelope.
tit
My
to look at the
my
name tag.
Penelope. And you're like, Penelope? Penelope.
I like his song, Ponytails, Cocktails.
Yeah. Yeah, the
fucking brilliant.
The songs in there are, like, halfway decent, and it's really Bill on the vocals on there, so that makes it work so well. It's beautiful.
I don't even know what I'm referring to with this line. because I'm really high and I wrote these notes and I'm high now. But
Okay,
I wrote
well.
body, comma, sex, comma, machete, comma, dickless. Oh, it was the dickless story.
Yeah, where they both
I was
do the
trying to
mangina.
summarize it. That's what that is. Okay. Had to
I
say
just
it out
wrote down
loud.
the word mangina because that's all you need to know. When they both do it at the
True.
same time, and he's like gets pissed at a. What is that?
Where's
I'm trying
my
to remember everyone's
penis?
character name. Yeah.
I got them all written down.
Yeah, so do I. But Putman actually stands up and does it too, and he pisses off the other guy that's actually telling the story, which is beautiful.
Yeah. I like the line in Pina Coladasburg. My favorite line in it is bloodshot eyes and a sore mustache. A sore mustache.
Yeah.
I like the implications of that.
Hell yeah.
Oh, the maze is pretty cool.
Yeah, the Pac-Man maze.
Well, it's awesome just to see it recreated, and you're like, man, I want to do that kind of. And also, it reminds me of The Shining, so it works on like 2 levels.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because it's spoofing The Shining without being obnoxious about it, because it's a maze, but it's tropical, so like you're not even necessarily thinking that because that's in the cold, but you know where they lifted it from, so
Yeah.
it works well.
But I love how they're dressed as the fruits and shit.
Yeah, and the
When you eat the pellet, the girls take their shirts
Top
off.
off,
That'd
yeah.
be blue ghost. Yeah, that was good.
I like when they're finally threatened or whatever by the guy, basically, and then they have the SOS fires on the beach.
Yeah.
Just trying to be nonchalant.
Yeah. We're having SOS fire. And I like how everyone's partying the whole time this is going on, like every night. And then when Juan sleeps with Penelope, they have that whole thing going. She's like, I'm a shelter gymnast. And her character is totally the vibes of Mary Jane from Scooby Doo. Like that side female character that's interesting, you kind of want to look at, but it's not really. You could remove that character and you're still going to get through the movie, no problem.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious because, she goes and does the vault on him, and then he's like, I think I need a few more hours to see if she's really a killer or not.
I like
Yeah.
Sam Levine showing up for a short minute.
Oh, yeah, he's got those couple little quick spots. Him in the pool
He gets
is
killed in the
fucking-
pool, yeah.
Him in the pool is hilarious, though, because he's talking about it's like my massive cock or whatever, my
Yeah.
massive dong, yeah. Yeah, he's funny in there.
He's great.
And how young is he in there, man? It's fucking hilarious.
Well, he's younger in Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
He's like 15 in that, I want to say. He's probably like somewhere between 18 and 21 here. But he just looks older than he looks like a 40-year-old man always, but also 12 somehow. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense.
It's like a weird, it's just a unique individual.
He's in Inglourious Bastards as well as one of the bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in a lot of cool stuff. He does a lot of podcasts these days, too. One of my other favorite lines from Coconut Pete is, you think Eddie Money has to put up with this shit?
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Oh, and then they talk about Eddie Money being part of, like, the All-Star band they were getting ready to go out on the road with.
Right.
They're like, we're going to give the island to Pete's nephew. And then Pete's nephew is like, his parents are trampled at a concert put on by his uncle. And they're like, oh, he's the murderer. It's all the Scooby Doo vibes of, like, who did the killing, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it works so well. That's why we paired this with the doobie of Scoobies.
Yeah, just like the beach vibe of it. It has a lot of parallels with Scooby Doo. Because they're trapped on a fucking island. I mean, a tropical island. This one's obviously
And spooky. They're both spooky.
Well, they're both pretty spooky, yeah.
The kills at the end of the movie are fucking great because they're just basically making fun of every fucking Jason movie ever made. Like, oh, they cut him in half. Like that when he finally falls in half with the boat going around the rope over and over, and then he pops out of the water again, and then they just pick him up and chuck him.
Yeah.
And then he finally sinks.
I should have written down all the kills from this movie because
Well,
now I can't think of the other
they
ones
do
on
that
the top of my head.
POV where they decapitates that girl and you see like her head spin and
Yeah.
laying next to her body. It was pretty cool.
And then they have all the bodies posted up on the ceiling in that one in the party room, which is pretty wild.
Oh yeah,
like that's cool that they had all those in there available to see again. Just when you're doing horror and gore, right, a lot of that just goes away, and the fact that someone who's keeping the bodies is fucking nonsensical but hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
Like when Jason kills someone and he strategically places them somewhere to fall at the right time.
And Juan's death is pretty good because he's under the water fixing the boat and he comes up and his just chest is split open, but it's not like his guts are falling out because where the cut is basically it's on meat, and I like how they did a good job of not having guts falling out where they shouldn't have been because they could have easily gone the way out and just had it look gross.
Well, that'd have been funny to me though, but
yeah.
I love how he wants one more kiss before he dies, and he's like,
Yeah, and he wants the girls to kiss. Yeah.
No, I want you to kiss.
Yeah. That's Steve Lemmy, which is hilarious to see him in that role because you're like, okay, he's doing a terrible accent and
he's doing a Ricky Ricardo.
Yeah.
That was an authentic voice.
Okay.
Are you saying Ricky Ricardo wasn't really?
I'm not talking about Ricky Ricardo. I'm talking about Steve Lemmy.
But that's a good accent because it sounds just like Ricky Ricardo.
You say so.
Are you gonna do a Ricky?
No, I was gonna do just a
Ricky Ricardo. The name's Ricardo. Ricky Ricardo. So, what are you trying to say?
Whenever you do that, you just sound like Quentin Tarantino.
Oh yeah,
talking about.
Did you mean what you said back there? Did you mean what you said back there? Did you mean it?
Did you mean what you said back there?
Richie, put in your bit. He grinds his teeth.
Oh man,
God, I love movies.
It sounds like a Lost Boys group post. I love movies.
I was in a Lost Boys group, and I know that almost no one in there has found their way to this, probably. But if they have,
welcome.
Joke's
You're in
not
for
on
real
you; it's on the other
entertainment.
people in the group who make ridiculous ass posts like.
I watched this on DVD
I love
the
watching
other day.
Lost Boys on DVD.
That is literally the post I shared the other day because I thought it was so ridiculous. Somebody posted, I love watching The Lost Boys on DVD. Now, it's interesting that they choose to be very specific about the DVD, as opposed to just, I love watching The Lost Boys.
She owns it on DVD, so she figured she'd let everyone know.
There's not a clear implication that she means she wouldn't watch it on VHS, perhaps doesn't like watching it on Blu-ray, and refuses to watch it on 4K. Even though you could draw that conclusion, that's clearly not what the
She won't
person
scream
means.
it either.
So that's why it's interesting that the DVD detail is inserted there. And then what's even funnier is that it had like 7 likes.
And some comments. Yeah.
One of the comments was also, I have The Lost Boys on DVD.
They took my post down.
Very, very interactive. What was your post now again?
I copied and pasted her post, but at the beginning I put, I love to touch myself while I watch The Lost Boys on DVD.
Yeah, you wonder why you have all these Facebook fans because you can't fucking control yourself. You have no self-control when it comes to posting on Facebook.
They didn't kick me out of the group, though.
Nick is currently in...
you're in Facebook jail anyway.
Facebook jail.
Well, yeah, I'm banned from Facebook totally, but that group I could still post beforehand.
We need that in a Zuckerberg voice.
Right. Do not attempt to challenge my authority. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, beep. Or something in his native...
Excuse me, I'm up past
language.
my bedtime.
Well, what else we got on this one, huh? What are the other kills in this one?
Obviously, you got the beginning murders. from the
Yes,
recent
we
group.
talked about the blade sliding and the...
Yeah.
That guy got electrocuted in the pool.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Oh, the TV in the
Yeah.
pool? That's a good one, yeah. That's Sam Levine.
How did the guy die in the maze? Did they even show it, or?
A lot of those are machete killing.
No, that was a machete one, but it's funny because they put the guts that you could see all the way out at the front of the fruit costume, so it's like the fruit actually got cut open.
Yeah.
Like his body filled up the suit. Like
Yeah.
it didn't make any sense, but it was hilarious.
No, yeah, that's just what they do, yeah. Even when the killer himself was dying, like they stab him in the back with a machete, and that's the fun police.
And the
Which
girl
is
in the beginning gets stabbed to
Sam.
the back too, right?
Yeah.
And she kept running to the pool. She'd have been fine.
Yeah, no, it's a good flick, man. It's definitely, if you like Broken Lizard stuff, if you like Beer Fest, and you like horror movies,
Brittany
right?
Daniel in there, who stars as Jenny. She's in Joe Dirt.
Oh, yeah.
She's in, she's the trans girl in It's Always Sunny. That Mac
Oh,
takes.
shit. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Huh, yep.
She got that big bulge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hilarious when you think of it.
I like when the comeback episode when she has it removed and she's married to a big black guy.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you gay? I get it," because he was with her when she had the dick.
Yeah,
and he has like such issues with it. That's a great episode. Anyway, I guess that's all I have to say about that one.
That's all I gotta say about that. You need that clip.
That's true. That's all I have to say about that.
That's all right, man. He said it all.
I just didn't feel like running no mo.
I'm not a smart man,
but I know what
but
love
I
is.
can quote Forrest Gump.
The hell are you looking for? Poking along.
Top 5.
Your wife's box.
Top 5. Top 5. Top 5. Top 5.
Top five. Top five. Top five.
This is top five.
This is top five. This
don't
top
say.
5 TV and film trios.
Yes.
Trios of people.
TV and film trios. Brought to you by the number 3.
This is a hard list because what qualifies as a trio, you know, like
3 people.
Well, do they got to be along through the whole movie? Is it part of a movie? Is it part of a show? How does it work, right? There's a lot of what ifs.
if I was an asshole, I would say
So we're the
the
main.
Frog Brothers and Sam. Even though the Frog Brothers themselves are a duo, but you could still consider them a trio because they're the ones who are in
They're
that
not-
age range hanging out the whole movie.
They're kind of a duo
Yes.
before the movie. From
Exactly, but they're not a duo anymore once the movie
exactly
is
through the whole movie.
Sam
it's more
makes
of
them a trio.
Yeah.
Even in the
I think
sequels,
that counts.
they follow up.
I didn't include that just because, you know, but
Yeah. Well, then the same thing is Ghostbusters starts as a trio. Then they add Winston. And in the second movie, they do the same thing, right? So there's trios there. So what do you do with that? I personally left that off my list because I think it's kind of asinine what they do to Winston. So I just left that off. It's my really only complaint about Ghostbusters is the treatment of him. There, I said it.
who wants to go first? Nick?
Nick, you're up. Number 5.
I know. Jack, Janet, and Chrissy from Three's Company.
Well,
Oh, wow. That's
We all
really
expected
inspiring.
that.
Jeez, thank you. Did you even watch that show?
Oh, I love that show.
I've never seen it.
It was on. Was it Nick at Night or TV Land? I watched.
I have
it a
the
lot when I was
first
a
season on
teenager.
DVD. I like it.
It's a great show.
It is. I agree. It's if you haven't watched it, give it a shot.
Do you like the Roper era or the?
I haven't watched it all and like I digested it, but I did used to watch like reruns of it. I remember one time I was at Grandma Linda's and there was like a marathon and I was watching it in the basement. So, yeah, I was familiar. And I have the first season on DVD and it's very low, like, oh shit, this looks terrible. But I'm sure it looked better later when they had a higher budget and shit and were successful. But
I don't think it really changed too much.
So what's your number 5, Alec?
Number 5. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup.
I thought about that one too.
The Powerpuff Girls.
That's a good one.
They're fucking legendary, and I watched that show as a kid. I
They'd
loved
be
that
on
show.
my top 10 for sure.
There's lots of cool, interesting villains in that show, but the Powerpuff Girls themselves are pretty interesting because
That's
they
the,
are
Townsville.
exactly.
The town of Citiesville.
It's just a great film trio, and they're trying to do a live action show for that right now, but
They're
they
filming
went,
it, yeah.
Well, they were filming it, and they'd completed filming of the pilot, but then they scrapped it, and were like, no, we're going back to the drawing board because they didn't like what
shit,
they
really?
filmed. Yeah. So who knows what's going to happen with that? Maybe something, maybe nothing.
Yeah, we'll see.
Got to find that on the interweb.
So my number 5 is Freaks and Geeks, Sam, Neil, and Bill. Fucking classic trio right there for a short-lived program.
I remember watching some episodes when it first aired, but I don't think I watched the whole. Was it like an 8-episode season or something? Or did it have more than that? But I don't.
I think in
remember
total there's
it.
like 12 or something, maybe 13. I don't know.
I don't know if I watched them all, but I don't really remember.
I have the
enough,
box
so.
set.
Yeah, no, those 3, though, are really what made up that show, right? Just their camaraderie there. And
the geeks.
You get a lot of their vibe in Stranger Things, right? A lot of Stranger Things character vibe comes directly from that, so.
Nick, number 4.
The Three Amigos. Kind of an obvious, easy one, but yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't put them on my top 3 because I do love those people separately, but they're not the best together. Now, if you take out, like, Chevy Chase doesn't work well with the other two to me necessarily.
They're just a trio that
I think
stood
that's
out
what
to me, I think.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I still think it's a good movie, and I do like it because I like
Yeah.
filmmaking movies. I like comedies. I like a little. It's just a very interesting concept. It's like the precursor to Tropic Thunder and shit. But
yes,
yeah,
you know that's a great movie. I didn't. I mean, I'd say probably in top 10, but not top 5 for me. So
my number 4 is Blake, Anders, and Adam from Workaholics.
That's a good number 4. I like it.
They those dudes are badass. They're just, if you want to include Carl, it'd be a quad, but he's the director of the episodes, and technically of that show, they were pretty much the stars. So, but they always work well together, and they're doing a Workaholics movie now, and I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that should be awesome. So my number 4 is The Big Lebowski. It's the dude, Walter, and Donnie. Classic
didn't
trio
even
right
think of
there.
that one.
That's a fucking good trio. Like, the dude is there on his own enough, but man, like, he's really rounded out well by those other guys, and it works so well. It's great.
Really ties the movie together.
God damn it. You shit.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh!
That's what that makes me do.
All right. Nick.
Number 3.
It's my turn already?
Yeah.
Luke, Leia, and Han. From the Star Wars trilogy.
Did you Google this?
Yeah.
And then you just picked from like
That's like this is
three?
like the standard like list that pops up if you like look on the internet.
It literally is.
I can't think of trios other than the obvious ones though. But like I didn't think of Big Lebowski. That would have been one I probably would have put on my list had I thought of it.
Likely story. All right. Well, thanks for that.
Well, my number 3 is Larry, Richard, and Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's.
That's a good fucking trio right there. Yeah.
Even though Bernie is just a corpse, man.
It doesn't matter. It works.
It's still a trio.
It
I
works.
eat that shit up, and we're going to be meeting Terry Kaiser at Crypticon. Probably get some footage of that if I can. Sneak some in there. Maybe try to talk to him if he has a moment.
I mean, if you pay for this stuff, I don't think they're going to bitch that you filmed it happening.
Right.
Maybe. But.
Depends. They're a small enough con that may not be a big deal for them.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was a big
it's
con, they would definitely bitch. But
I'll have him sign my Weekend at Bernie's VHS tape.
And it's not a small con in a bad way. It's just a horror con, so you just
Right.
don't have the volume. So it's a great place to visit if you're looking for an excellent horror con in the Midwest.
if it's a celebrity where you can
Thanks, Dad.
give them $10 and take a picture at the table, they're probably okay with it.
Yeah. So my number 3 is the Workaholics crew. Blake, Adam, and Durs.
Interesting.
My number 3 there. They're just fucking great. That show is so fucking underrated. I just wish they were doing more with that still. I mean, I know the movie's coming, but it just feels like there's so much potential there.
Mm-hmm.
And I love their podcast, too.
Yes, it's great.
All right, Nick, number 2.
The Three Stooges.
Jesus fucking Christ. You actually like the Three Stooges?
Yeah, I do.
Huh.
You actually eat this?
Except for the... Well, I didn't hate the movie as much as my friend did. But
I just don't care. I guess I don't have hate for them, and I don't think they're... You know, they have their place or whatever. I get that and respect that, but I just don't give any fucks.
Three Stooges, yeah, I get their importance in film history, and I've seen some of their stuff, but I'm not like, oh, you know what I need to go watch? You know what I will watch over Three Stooges any day? Abbott and Costello. Way better.
well, you can put them on your duo list.
Nope. Too late. All right. Number 2, Alec.
This is what I was laughing at is because we kind of had these swapped, but Sam, Neil, and Bill from Freaks and Geeks.
Oh, okay. Perfect. Very nice.
But there's something about that show because it's comedy and drama that it works so well to me that I connect so well to those characters.
Well, if you growing up through those years as a human, you experience that bullshit.
Well, it's like I was a sort of a geek and a freak in high school, somewhere between the two.
Yeah.
Always have been, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you're in good company.
I'm here talking about some fucking movies on a podcast like a geek, but I'm also stoned as hell.
Yeah.
So there's that. Freaks and Geeks, that shit rules, so that's my number 2.
Nice.
Nick, number 1.
No, I didn't go to my number 2 yet.
Fuck you, I don't care.
Son of a bitch.
we're over
Are we going to cover Freaks and Geeks? Is that still...
Yeah, probably.
I'll watch it then.
Ferris, Cameron, and Sloan. Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
My favorite spit roast. That never happened on film.
I was going to say, you don't know what happened behind the scenes. All right, Nick, number 1.
He was like, where's the last place you want to see on today? And she was like, the Eiffel Tower. And he was like, I know what you mean, baby. Cameron, put your hands up.
Put your hands in
My number 1 is Kirk, Spock, and McCoy from Star Trek.
Oh, fuck off. I'm just kidding. It's valid.
That's one. That's more respectful than other stuff because that wasn't on everyone's fucking
And at least
list.
we know you actually really like that.
Yeah, I know you love
Like
Star
you're
Trek.
passionate about. I've never heard you mention Three's Company before, but
There's a lot of things I don't mention. I love Three's
His
Company.
prostate massager is actually shaped like a Star Trek Comtech.
My number 1, sorry.
Yeah.
Brody, Hooper, and Quint.
God damn it.
From Jaws.
That's my number one, too.
The best fucking trio.
Yes, that's a fucking trio right there at the end.
For like the last fucking hour and a half or hour, I don't know how, an hour and a half. Like, but it's fucking the best.
All the fucking stories on there when you really get to know Quint.
That's all my favorite part of that movie in general.
Yeah.
Everything on the land before that's great too. But like once it gets on the boat for that last fucking hour sequence or whatever it is, it's like, all right, here we are.
Yes.
This is my fucking dessert.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I can't wait. I'm like saving to watch it again the 4th of July weekend. I always like to watch it. So
yeah, everyone was watching for the anniversary. I'm like, no, that's a holiday
They
weekend
usually
one.
do one of those movies in the water where you float around in a pool and watch
yeah,
it.
lots of people do those.
Yeah, those are
Well, I mean,
cool.
like an official event or something. I'd like to go to that maybe this summer.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've seen they've started them up already, doing other movies. But
yeah.
Some honorable mentions. Ed, and Eddie. Fry, Leela, and Bender. Very close to being on my list.
What about the Cornetta trilogy movies?
A trilogy of movies as opposed to people?
Well, yeah, the people in them. What is it? Simon, Nick, and Edgar.
Edgar's not in them. He's the director.
They still, I mean,
it just does. It's a different kind of trio.
Yeah,
it's
I
not
guess
a
that's
starring
more of a
thing.
film
They're
making. Yeah.
But if you went by those rules, then you'd have to include Kyle Newacek with the Workaholics.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And
Batman and Robin and Batgirl and Batman and Robin. Just kidding. I was gonna joke about that at one point. Horrible Bosses, guys. Those are pretty good movies. You know, they just it's not on my top 5, but they're good together.
Yes, that first one's really good.
The
second
Sanderson
one's-
sisters in Hocus Pocus.
Mm-hmm.
Another good, very interesting one, but couldn't quite make the top. The Lone
Rangers.
The Lone Rangers.
Yep. Mhm.
And the Lone Rangers from X-Files.
Oh yeah, that's another. Yeah.
Two low. I literally
Right.
wrote it down. Lone Rangers, Lone Rangers, X-Files.
That's a very good.
The
point.
Lone Rangers. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had written down, though. Pretty good, successful top 5, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know your top 5 film and TV trios. What about my list did you like? What about Justin's list did you like? What about Nick's list did you dislike? That kind of thing. The groan. I see how it is.
Nick's over here doom scrolling already again. He's addicted to his phone.
Addicted.
Doom scrolling right now. You have nothing you need to be doing on your phone right now.
You know what I just watched?
Me pulling a can off some moron's fist?
Return of the Jedi.
Did you see Alien? When that creature was in that guy's stomach?
Oh my god! You ever seen that really old movie? Empire Strikes Back?
Jesus, Tony.
Welcome to Retro
He is a Great Dane, you know.
Right. Scooby Doo. Do you think he's hung? Dog genitalia on this podcast. Talking Scooby Doo 2002, baby.
2002.
31% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes. The interesting fact a lot of people forget about in this is that this was written by James Gunn and story by James Gunn. So
directed by Raja Gosnell.
Yes. What
Or
else has he
Raja
done?
Gosnell. He did Scooby Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
Okay. You know what's the most disappointing part of this movie to me is that
Oh, we're going there, huh?
Scooby Doo's voice is not voiced by anyone classic.
But his performance was great.
It's.
I mean, have you watched a lot of other Scooby Doo material that's been produced the last 20 years?
yeah, Justin.
I'm just going by what I know classic from my childhood.
Fuck your childhood. We're talking about the legacy of Scooby Doo here, and this is a guy did a great fucking job as Scooby Doo.
Yeah, they did a good job.
And he's actually, for the last 20 years, has also been on and off voicing Shaggy when Matthew Lillard is unavailable. His name is Scott Ines, by the way.
Yeah, and he's actually did a bunch of shit at one of the theme parks in Australia. So he did I think it was a Crash Test Dummies thing or something like that, where he's like driving, doing stunt work and shit like that too. And I was reading about him. He's an interesting character.
But he's Scooby in Scooby Doo on Zombie Island. Or, that's the wrong guy. Scott Ines is the guy who did Scrappy Doo in this.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who was also Scooby Doo in Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, right behind me. Witches, Ghost, Alien Invaders, and Cyber Chase. And he's the guy who's also Shaggy in a lot of other shit. the last 3 of those movies too.
What's interesting is they still had Frank Welker doing creature voices and Jess Harnell, which he's done a shitload of stuff if you look him up. So the creatures in this movie are funny.
Frank Welker was doing Fred and what's it called? And Scooby, I think, in the animated stuff at the time. But that's funny that he was doing creature effects too.
Yeah,
And
well, that's what he
the
did
real
on
one.
there. Like, you know, when you have that, you're like, oh, okay. But no, he's it's good to see it. Like, he at least did some stuff in there. Like, how you can have such a classic, iconic person not do a
Let's
big
just
part of this
break
movie.
down this cast in general real quick here.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr. is Fred. I guess not a terrible casting choice necessarily. It's just kind of whatever. Apparently, the casting director wanted both. He wanted them to be played by a couple, and they were dating at the time, which is kind of stupid as fuck to me. But I don't know if that's
really?
just a thing I
I
read
think they
or
got
not.
married that year too.
But either way, he's the most underwhelming person of the group.
I mean, he literally just has the looks that people were like going for at the time, right? And that's, yeah, he's very boring in his role.
His most entertaining line is just showing that he's an asshole when he says, "Dorky chicks like you turn me on too."
Yeah, that was, yeah.
And it's not funny, it's just kind of funny because he's a dick.
It's fucking cringeworthy because, like, I think we all know a chick in high school that was, like, nerdy or something, and then, like, you've all hear horror stories of, like, somebody seeing them on Facebook now trying to get in their pants and hit on them, like, oh, you're so hot, and you're like, you're a fucking asshole to them in high school. Fuck off.
Wasn't he the star of She's All That also?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
With also had
So it's-
Matthew Lillard in it.
So it's basically him taking her and...
Sarah Michelle Gellar
Mm-hmm.
as Daphne is probably the other person who's not the best, but pretty decent. Like, she doesn't embody the cartoon Daphne at
Yeah,
all, but
I think so.
She
her
makes it
performance
her-
isn't terrible,
she
and
makes
she,
it her
like,
own
I like her
role.
better
Yeah.
than Fred.
Yes. Yeah, she feels a little off, but
I like
she's
how
like
they
her own thing.
addressed the damsel in distress bullshit, and we're like, yeah, now she learns karate and some badass bitch.
Yeah, like her fight scene near the end is pretty fucking badass. Like, I love that. That was a
Which
good little
is
sequence.
the fucking MXPX Scooby Doo cover.
Yep.
Never even realized that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Now the two real shiners from this movie. The first being obvious, but I'm going to skip down to Linda Cardellini.
Yes.
Cardellini. I always fuck her name up. From Freaks and Geeks, oddly
Yep.
enough. Which is funny because we had a Freaks and Geeks on our top 5. Sam Levine was in fucking Club Dread, and she's
Yes.
in this.
This all carries over. It's all in universe.
As Velma, and she captured the mannerisms of Velma very well.
Yes.
You can tell she's mimicking the cartoon.
Yes.
And that's why she's great. And she's a babe also, so that works. And they show off a lot of her cleavage in this movie later on.
There is for a kids family-friendly movie, there is a lot of cleavage in this movie. I don't think anyone's complaining, but you're just like, when I was watching this, like, I don't remember there being this much boobage going on watching this as a kid. And now you're watching, you're like, Jesus Christ, who do they make this for, the dads or the kids?
I don't know, but I like it. And I liked it then. When I was 11, I was like, boobies. You know what I mean? Like, when you're a kid, especially like 11, 12-year-old boy, you're like, wait a minute. Boobs are pretty cool.
And then
And then it's all from downhill from there.
And then you wonder why there's like every cosplaying girl out there has like some sort of Velma Daphne like duo cosplay of like them like wearing next to nothing. You're like, okay, this really set us up for that. Obviously, let's get to the man himself.
Sugar Ray.
Neil Fanning was Scooby Doo, but you must mean Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, fuck you. No, Matthew goddamn Lillard,
who is one of my favorite actors of all time,
as Shaggy.
Yeah.
He fucking kills it in this role. Like, he's the thing that
he carries this movie on his fucking back with his massive cock dragging between his legs.
Mm-hmm. Even if like you read reviews now, like the reviews are still saying like he is the backbone of this movie. Like, he's the only thing that really makes it decent.
Yes. Well,
The
like I
fact
said,
that-
his interactions with Scooby Doo, which are based on his performance. So yes.
Yes. And the fact that there was no Scooby-Doo on set. Like, I don't even know if they were CGIing over, like, a puppet head in there like sometimes they would do just for frame of reference.
I think
but
they might have sometimes had like a stuffed little Scooby they put
But
in
like
there,
he is like legit acting with himself, and it's so fucking perfect because like all like the way he's like looking, and like when they animated Scooby in there, like I'm not a huge fan of the Scooby design itself. It's a little kind of silly to me, but the way Matthew
I like the
Lillard
Scooby Doo design, especially for the times. Like they couldn't have done much better, especially with try to do live action. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying it looks bad. I mean it looks like a.
Don't talk shit about the good things in this movie.
It's like a combination of a real Great Dane with the cartoon Scooby, which is what throws me off. Like they have fur details on there. Like just do one or the other. Like make them all real fucking silly looking.
Well, you can't do one. I like it. I like the design of Scooby.
It's kind of a hybrid there. So. What?
I have a bunch of notes for this movie. I was gonna say it's the score is nostalgic to me. It's very fascinating little spooky shit that goes on.
Mm-hmm.
I do like how it opens. Almost reminds me of like a James Bond movie where they open up with
an action
wrapping
sequence.
up something,
Yeah.
a previous mission, and how it might possibly tie into something later, but it doesn't here. Like some James Bond ones are standalone where it's just kind of like him wrapping something up.
Yeah, and then some of them like circle back to it.
Like GoldenEye leads right into it. It's very relevant.
Yes.
But it still feels like he wraps something up.
Yeah, the later movies.
Until you watch the rest of it.
The later movies tend to connect more than the earlier ones.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. I like how you see them bust somebody and they're all in their OG outfits. So Fred has his fucking goofy hair and ascot and shit.
Yeah.
And then comes one of the worst cameos of any fucking movie ever released.
Pam Anderson.
Like, what the fuck are you doing in Scooby Doo, Pam Anderson? Why the fuck are you in a children's movie to begin with, you piece of trash? Sorry, I just have no respect for her. I don't know why.
That was just one of those weird cameos. Like, yeah, why do you have a porn star, essentially? Like, yeah, Baywatch and all that other shit. Like, why do you have her in here? Like, and this is after the Tommy Lee tape.
She looks like the exact type of thing. I don't know. Maybe this might come off. I don't think it comes off as misogynistic or anything. But like, I was just gonna say, like, she comes off as just gnarly in like a leathery fucking tanned bag that looks like Donald Trump with fucking fake tits that just, I don't know, everything just looks wrong.
It's kind of weird to think that she looked that way 20 years ago.
Well, yeah, she's plastic now, so she looks the same. Like a goddamn action figure. NRFB, baby.
Well, yeah, you look at like Baywatch and like there's completely different, but by the time
look at her fucking Home Improvement.
Yeah.
That's the same human. It's like Michael Jackson level of difference.
Yeah.
Minus even the skin color's different.
Yeah.
It is. You become orange. She's Donald Trumpian. Like, I don't know. That's just my rant about Pamela Anderson, but I've never liked her or anything she's been in. I mean,
so you guys never gonna review Barbed Wire?
Nope.
Sounds like trash.
Jason's been wanting me to ask you guys.
Sounds like trash. Whatever it is.
He loves
Fuck
that
Pamela
movie.
Anderson. And I don't mean that in a good way. But that just reminded me of one of the other worst cameos I've ever seen in a movie.
What's that?
The other Scoob movie that came out. Remember they had to put fucking Simon Cowell in that randomly?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what the fuck? These people aren't relevant anymore. Pamela Anderson really wasn't relevant in 2002. Maybe 1997.
What year was Simon Cowell in a Scooby?
The Scoob animated movie that came out last year.
Oh, the one that just came out?
Yeah, they animated him and everything.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a little late for him.
Maybe put somebody... I mean, I would understand even like John Cena, who was a meme. I mean, he's still a little bit of a meme, but I'm saying that's like... He was popular in the zeitgeist like 5 or 6 years ago. I wouldn't have even put him in there, but I'm just using that as an example of like a halfway mark between like... They weren't even using people that had just gone out of style. Like Simon Cowell, nobody gives a fuck about him anymore.
Kids gave a fuck about Simon Cowell ever, so...
No, yeah, and he's a fucking asshole. So, like, why are you trying to put a cameo in there that's relevant?
He's another plastic surgery disaster, too.
Oh, yeah.
What's up with these fucking cameo choices?
I don't think I've seen him recently.
Which, by the way, I'll also bring up real quick. Scooby Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed. I watched that. Another American Idol connection. They had that fucking Ruben guy singing at the end of it.
Oh.
And I was just like, I literally turned it off. I got pissed. I was like, I'm getting fucking mad now.
Do you like the Sugar Ray cameo in this one?
Doesn't he have a DJ or some shit in there or something?
Yeah, he's performing live.
Yeah.
In that.
It's their band singing, but
yeah,
I don't
He's
know.
Like possessed already.
I mean, I think it's dumb, but I don't hate it anywhere near as much as Pamela Anderson or things.
An actual musician playing a musician, whatever, but like Pam Anderson could have been anybody coming out
Nobody
of that
even
binge.
instantly recognizes him except people from
The 90s that were there.
Well, yeah, but like everybody knows who Pamela Anderson and Simon Cowell are only because of old shit, and nobody gave a fuck anymore. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's me ranting about that. The Mystery Machine is hot as fuck in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Sexy.
It's the only thing that's on this movie. You don't hardly get any Mystery Machine, but you don't really need it. Like, you see it enough to know that okay, that's cool that they had it there. But it's not. I mean, it's so iconic. It's kind of its own character, so it is. But it's on an island, so you don't really.
Scooby Doo
need
has the potential to make me cry in all these movies too, when they try to do the sad shit. So like,
him and Shaggy and stuff being
him and
BFFs,
Shaggy's being alone together as soon as everybody leaves, and he says, "Do I quit?" And he's like, "No, Scoob, friends don't quit."
Yeah.
But just the Scooby, he's crying and shit, and I'm like, oh man, the dog stuff gets me. Dog and human relationships.
Yeah.
Fucking gets to me in movies. Then they shoot over to showing the Mystery Machine with smoke pouring out, and Shaggy says, and I quote, "This is primo. Talk about toasted."
Yeah.
More marijuana jokes.
Were they making eggplant burgers?
Exactly,
Yes,
because
eggplant burgers.
Shaggy's a vegetarian at this point in the continuity. They finally gave him that, so he's a vegetarian in this movie.
Yep.
Eggplant burgers. Chocolate-covered eggplant burgers.
Yeah. And their food combinations in this movie are hilarious because they just sound so gross, but you're just like, all right.
You coming over to talk about Scooby Doo?
A good boy knows that when a good boy is being talked about. That's our esteemed mascot, Mr. Booger.
You can't see him on camera, but he's here getting a head scratching.
He's sophisticated and refined with his gray beard.
Oh, well. We don't go any place with the word spooky, haunted, forbidden in the title. Or hydrochronic.
Yeah.
Basically...
That's hilarious because
that's like a fucking medical enema term, basically.
Yeah.
Like they don't like to have water shoved up their ass.
And that's hilarious that Scooby says that, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, he's been to the vet. He knows what's up.
There's jokes like that are great in this movie. That's why
Yeah.
I still think it's a fucking masterpiece. That's my first page of notes.
Woohoo! So
Mary Jane on the airplane. First, Scooby-Doo is the grandma is fucking hilarious.
Yes.
It's stupid, and
it's
who would buy that? And then Fred.
Yeah, that's like Fred. That like, who is that hideous thing or something like that?
But that's like a great comedy line for children.
Oh yeah,
It's
because
great.
kids are giggling at that. Yeah. Like that's one of the things that I watched this with my kids on Sunday. So Father's Day, it was like, okay, you're watching Scooby Doo with me, and that was one of the scenes they legit laughed at. And then it wasn't till the monsters were there at the end. And like they were laughing at all the shenanigans going on with that. And I love the monsters in this movie. Like they look decent enough. But like I love how they
shit. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the monsters are the worst part too of the looking, especially Scrappy's shit.
Oh, when Scrappy transforms is the worst bit of CGI trash in this movie.
We'll get there.
But no, the monsters I love just because they give me Gremlins vibes. And then, getting out in the sunlight and they explode and everything, like those things are, I like that stuff. That was good.
I got lots of little notes about this stuff. There's I love Rowan Atkinson as Emil Montevarius, and he's has the lines, "Oh, I can be spooky. I can be the claws." And no, you wouldn't want to run into me in a dark alley, now would you?
Yeah. And then like when they say, they're explaining that he's a suspect, like, yeah, you're a bit creepy, and he's like, I suppose I am, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the boogeyman's over here to see me now.
I like when they're hanging out the first night, and then the bar guy gets a phone call.
Oh, yeah.
Is there Mr. Doo here? Melvin Doo? And he's like, no, Scooby.
And then they bring him back at the end, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure you don't want Melvin Doo?
Thank you for ruining the whole purpose of my discussion, Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you for that. That was cool. So, moving along there. The voodoo scene with the voodoo ritual is kind of interplayed with the scene where Scooby's looking for the hamburgers. 'Cause that's what the voice on the phone call said.
Yeah.
And he's out there saying,
Hamburgers? Hamburgers, where are you?
Yeah. And he finds the bag and it lights up on the tree. That's good. And then they fling that monster and it hits the roller coaster ride.
Yeah, that rules.
Yeah, that was good.
The voodoo guy, though, is, of course, Miguel Nunez. You want to tell us what else he's in, Nick?
He's in Friday the 13th, Part 5. He's in Juwanna Man. And he's in Return of the Living Dead.
That's the other one I was thinking of.
And I think there's one more in my head somewhere, but those are the main ones.
And this does like that whole thing where you don't know who the villain is, right? There's a bunch of people, and they all kind of turn out to be working on the island. So, like, are they really involved or not?
Again, just like Club Dread.
Exactly. Beautiful.
So they go to the castle. I like the Scooby snack scene. You have to put that in there.
Oh yeah,
it's good to put in. You know, you throw one Scooby snack into each episode of the show. You throw one into the movie.
Yeah, with a meal. Yeah, and he gives them the Scooby snacks.
Also, when Shaggy has the line, "Oh, reminds me of the time we tried to eat the guy in the hot dog costume."
Oh yeah, he's like, "You eat plastic." He's like,
"You drink out of the toilet." So do you.
So do you. Oh, there's a cat poop joke in there too, I think. I want to say.
Yeah, that's later on.
Okay, because I remember that with the kids because that was cracking Pete up.
They find the one of the brainwashing videos for the things, and they have the classic line I like in there is when the guy's angry in the first take, and he bumps him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, bro." And he goes, "I will crush your bones into dust." And he like smashes his glass in his hand. Also, this has the best fart scene of any movie ever.
Oh yeah, the Scooby and Shaggy.
It's
fart
actually
scene.
funny. I like how Scooby's pulling his fucking tail to make the fart louder and shit. And
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, dog, if he could, he would do that to be an ass."
Yeah.
And "Are you challenging me?"
Yeah.
Which became like a meme too for a while.
Then you see him like swallowing air and stuff.
"I'm not stopping till your hair's singed off," he says. It's fucking amazing. I love all of that. That's I don't laugh at a lot of fart and shit jokes often. They got to be really good.
A lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Oh, and then they top it off with another good one when he's in the knight's outfit. Farts next to the candle and it lights his whole suit on fire real quick.
Yes, the little fire burst. Yes.
That fucking rules.
Yeah, that was a classic one.
Scrappy Doo, when they do the flashback telling about him and he pees on Daphne.
Yes.
And I love the little sigh look, like as he's peeing on her, she says, "He's peeing on me." And he goes, "Ooh."
Yeah. Which is hilarious, because when you're first watching that the first time, you're like, "Oh, okay, no big deal." Like, "Oh, that's a cute little funny Scrappy Doo reference in there, right?" And he's a little shit.
When Fred says to Scooby, "This is the most embarrassing thing you've done since you decided to clean your beans at Don Knotts' Christmas party." That fucking rules. Like, how is that not amazing?
That's a classic one there. Yeah.
And then Scooby-Doo like thinks about it, and then he goes, then they have the Scooby-Doo "Where Are You" montage after Shaggy yells out, "Scooby-Doo, where are you?"
Yeah.
Which is pretty...
It's
fun.
well done there, right?
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's calling back, obviously, to the original. They reference Coolsville a couple times, and Coolsville High and shit, which is cool, because that's in the actual show. A bunch of them.
Yeah, you can tell they did the research when writing it, but also kind of made it a parody of itself at certain times, which works.
Originally, it was supposed to be much more of a parody than it ended up, but they did CGI cleavage out of this movie because there was too much of hot-ass titties. And studios are like, kids don't like titties, I guess. But trust me, kids like titties.
I think everyone likes titties.
Titties like titties.
Yeah.
Another great line from Scooby is when they're being attacked after everybody's possessed. And he's like, "Why is Fred in a bad mood?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "He's not in a bad mood. He's possessed."
The little floating heads flying around are kind of funny when they're down in the cave.
Yeah.
Like, those actually look pretty good, too.
Like, if you ever wondered what, like, a late 90s Ghostbusters was going to look like,
that's CGI
somewhere
right
between
there, yes.
that and Men in Black.
Yes. That's what you would have gotten in, so be thankful.
What's funny is how Scream exists and Matthew Lillard's in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's kind of a movie that's kind of a knockoff of Scream in ways. At least people view it that way in terms of promotional materials and everything, etc. like that. I Know What You Did Last Summer, which stars Freddie Prinze Jr. and has Sarah Michelle Gellar in it as well.
Starring horror movies, and then they're playing in this, yeah.
This movie ends with the pepper scene when they're eating the peppers.
Oh, the hot peppers, yeah.
Which is just great because in Scooby Doo on Zombie Island, which came out in 1999, they are on Louisiana in the bayou, and they're eating a bunch of hot peppers in that, too. It's like a thing, jars of hot peppers, so...
Yeah, that really cracked the kids up when we watched that, man. They were laughing so hard when they're both spitting, and the smoke left the building after they both downed the whole jar. So.
Yeah, fucking excellent.
Yeah, it holds up pretty well. It's still a fun movie. Definitely a good time to watch.
Definitely
a good movie to watch.
I will say, my biggest gripe with it is that Scrappy Doo's the villain. Like, regardless of how you feel about Scrappy Doo as a character, if you like him, if you don't, it was fucking stupid to have him be the villain. Like, what the fuck is that?
It's like Jim Phelps being the villain in the Mission Impossible movie.
No.
Yes, it is. It's exactly like that.
No, this is way more beloved than Mission Impossible could ever hope to be.
But I mean, having like a good
I just
guy...
mean Scrappy Doo is not... Scrappy Doo is a beloved character. There's fucking children's lunchboxes with him on there. Is there with that guy? He's not as culturally relevant, is what I'm saying. It's not as much of a betrayal.
There was
of people
probably Mission Impossible
because,
lunchboxes back in the day.
For example, I've never watched the original Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
But I have watched the original Scooby Doo. You know how many people like that exist? More than the opposite.
More people are like you.
Mission Impossible has become a movie franchise, and no one gives a fuck about the TV series anymore. Most modern people don't. They just associate it all with their...
Scooby Doo, on the other hand, is a media conglomerate.
I'm not comparing popularity. I'm saying...
You're comparing pain, which is not what we're here to do.
A good guy character from the TV show is the villain in the movie. That's the what I'm comparing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of surprising and something you don't really see coming.
I wouldn't say that.
What?
You see it coming in Mission Impossible, unless you're a moron.
No, but like not watching the movie, but before you've seen the movie, you wouldn't have expected Jim Phelps to be the villain. Like you wouldn't have expected.
All right. Anyway,
Scrappy
Scooby-Doo
to be the villain in this.
But no, I don't need to compare the two. Scrappy Doo is just
The thing is, the flashback scene with Scrappy Doo is hilarious. That's great, and that works. And then
could have just had
that.
Yeah,
and then when you realize like that's what
it's
a setup, you're like, oh, okay, well that's. I mean, since he's a little shit there, like you get it, right? He's kind of an ass.
Yeah, it's just so fucking annoying. It's like
he's not even a puppy; he has a gland issue.
Yeah, and then you get the issue of he's a little shit.
Wasn't he like Scooby's nephew?
He is Scooby's nephew,
but he's not in the movie.
Yeah, so that's how you treat your nephew. You just throw him on the side of the fucking road.
Oh,
too.
is his nephew in the movie also?
Yeah, they keep that continuity there.
Oh, I'm not sure that makes sense then.
It's kind of.
I thought they could have done something different, but at the same time, if it started out more as a satire spoof, I get that. But
no, I don't get it in any circumstances. I won't tolerate it. James Gunn, if you're listening, let's box. We'll do one of those celebrity boxing matches and make $1 billion that everybody's doing. We can box. You can dress up as Scrappy Doo. I'll dress up as Scooby Doo and fucking.
I'd actually pay to watch that.
Pummel your ass for talking about writing this movie this way.
I'll just tell him to
punch you want to beat up Scrappy to show how mad you are at how they treated Scrappy. That doesn't make sense.
I said it's irrelevant.
You should dress up as Scrappy and just
at the very beginning of
James
this, I said
Gunn.
it's irrelevant. How do you feel about Scrappy? Because there's people who dislike his character and who like them. Both didn't like Scrappy being the villain. Because people who didn't like him were like, why is he in this fucking movie at all? I hate this. And people who liked him were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then when they roid him all out...
Why not just make fucking Fred the villain? He's the fucking straight white man. He's the real villain.
So people who don't like Scrappy didn't like him being in the movie either?
Yes. They thought it was horseshit.
Oh.
He still gets shit for that.
I do love when Emil comes out as the out of the cage with like the long hair, and he's like, "Little bastard made me into a robot version of me and kept me trapped in here for years."
Fucking Saddam Hussein looking ass.
Yeah,
when he comes out of there, which is funny because that hadn't happened at that time, I don't think.
No, for another year or so.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah,
a year or two.
Pretty timely though. It's like predicting the future, I suppose. So that's Scooby Doo.
Scooby Doo. Woohoo!
Also, there's lots of boobies in this movie, so
Same thing with Club Dread. So
Yes,
if you're
there's a
a
lot of
fan
great-
of bikinis,
But bare breasts
cleavage,
and Club Dread.
yeah, I mean, there's a few in there.
There was more bare boobs in that than Scooby Doo.
Well,
Do you think so?
Thanks for that general life advice, Captain Obvious.
I guess we're going to close it out.
Yeah, we should.
We now return to the real Ghostbusters.
Diane, 11:30 a.m., February 24th. Entering the town of Twin Peaks.
Pretty good. Bill Murray's the funniest man on the planet.
Episode by episode.
One of my favorite quotes from Freaks and Geeks. I love that I put that in there.
Obviously.
That's
Bill Murray's the funniest man on the planet. Do you?
Yeah, when he's
Do you know-
talking to his stepdad or the guy his mom's dating in that episode.
Yeah, it's Biff.
Oh yeah, that is Biff Tannen, the original
Thomas
Beerus mom,
Wilson,
yeah.
and he's talking there with him.
Yeah, because
and he's talking about how he saw stripes because his coach is dating his mom.
Yeah, and he
in that
didn't get
episode.
stripes. He didn't know it.
Yeah, he thought it was. He starts talking shit on Bill Murray. He's like, Bill Murray's a wise ass. Fucking hate that guy. And somebody needs to teach that guy a lesson.
Yeah.
And he was like, Bill Murray's the funniest man on the
alive.
planet.
Yeah.
You couldn't even get the quote right, and it's in our theme song.
I don't give a shit.
Fucking
enough.
this guy over
He
here.
just played it.
Luke, I am your father, motherfucker.
I mean, technically, Luke's father fucked his mother.
Luke, I am your
So-
father is a quote from Tommy Boy, not Star Wars.
Luke.
Yeah. Just like how you like to quote Cable Guy and not Silence of the Lambs, but you didn't know it was that.
Yeah, that's fine. Fuck, I do what I want. I go by what I know, and I know Cable Guy more than Silence of the Lambs.
What a crime.
It's a product of the 90s, son.
So season 2.
They're both 90s movies.
Yeah, but I wasn't watching as many fucking like violent rated R movies at the time, so Silence of the Lamb wasn't on like my same.
So Twin Peaks season 2, episode 7, Lonely Souls.
Lonely Souls.
What do you think about this episode?
Lonely, 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 lonely. I like seeing Harold's feet swinging around. And swing those juicy things. No, that's fucked up. If you need help, seek treatment.
Jesus Christ. So, yeah, if you're not aware, Harold is the botanist that commits suicide in this episode. And so, yeah.
Oh, God. That's hilarious. I'm sorry.
Fucking sick. You're sick, Mom. You know, that's just sick. Did you ever add that to the goddamn soundboard?
No, I couldn't find a good rip of it.
Pissing me off here. Damn! That's acceptable in this moment. That's acceptable.
Holy shit! Fucking A, man.
That's always good. David Lynch saying, fucking A, man. I'll take that any day. So.
Oh my god.
Sorry. Just going a little berserk there with the soundboard.
You're
It's
just
fun.
like clicking buttons like, ooh, this is fun.
Booger, don't unplug anything. You just sat down on a bunch of cables.
It's like, I do what I want. Grown-ass man dog.
So Harold has basically just decided to end his life. He's fucking over this shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's over dealing with
He
it.
couldn't leave his house anyway, so.
It was an ugly tree anyway. Jesus Christ.
That's, yeah, agoraphobia is a serious problem for people. So.
Seek help.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm a fucked up human who's really struggled myself. That's why I laugh.
Well,
at
that's
it.
why we do make all these jokes. We've all had our own personal issues with this stuff. So if we seem insensitive, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, for sure. Because we're just uncomfortable inside.
Sometimes outside too.
You
thanks, Dad, yourself?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I have to do the soundboard operating for myself as well.
Oh, okay. I just don't see you do that very often, so.
Well, I try not to. I'm not trying to like toot my own horn and make myself the funniest person. I try to enhance everything. I don't try to just throw them in there for no reason. But sometimes I do. What happens after that, guys? I didn't watch it this week, but I've seen this series 100,000 times. I remember how the episode ends.
Well, they have the one-armed man up
It
at the
wasn't
hotel.
me. It was the one-armed man.
And they're searching for Bob. Bob's human host is basically what they're looking for up there. So they have Mike, that's his name, I think, is the shoe salesman. Helping
Philip
out.
Gerard is his name, but Mike is the spirit
Alter
that
ego,
inhabits him.
yeah, that's right, yeah. So that's pretty cool to see all that. But that's actually going on before you see that Hawk has found Harold dead. And then Bobby and Shelley are discussing their finances, and then you got the whole plot line of the shoes going on.
New shoes.
New shoes. Leo New shoes.
New shoes. That's a big thing from this show.
Yeah. New shoes.
New shoes.
Leo's sitting there drilling oatmeal.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, he is.
I love how it keeps startling them.
Leo deserves this existence.
It's the best, though. And I love how it keeps startling Shelly and Bobby, like, once in a while by saying something. New shoes. And you're like, see, he's not there. They got all scared again. I love how they find his boots, though, and get the micro cassette out of there, you know, because they knew something's going on with that. New shoes. It's good. It's good.
Yes.
And the guy that's playing Leo is doing a good job, like, being in that state and, like, getting slapped around and fucked with, because you know how hard it would be to stay in character when people are literally just fucking around with you like that? I mean, that'd be tough.
He's like pinches like his...
Yeah. Pinching his face, and then he's just
like
got a drool.
temple skin or something.
You'd have to also be very easy to just be in his position for the rest of the season's shooting schedule. Can you imagine just be like, all right, come and act like a vegetable now, and then just be like,
easy money.
Put some oatmeal in his mouth.
Yeah, like dress setting.
Shoes.
Yeah. Shoes.
And cut.
Like, could you say that a little more boring, please?
Yeah.
And then his drooling, like some of his drooling, you can clearly tell he's like spitting up a bunch of saliva like an asshole, and you're like, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I love Leo in this state. Is this... They haven't had his birthday party yet, have they? Is that this episode? No, it's not.
in this episode.
I thought they did that last episode.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because they slammed
I must have missed that
They
scene.
got the cake all over him and shit.
Yeah, that's
His
great.
face is a
I
mess.
love that fucking whole scene. I love the picture of him sitting there like this with the sunglasses and the hat on, just fucking unconscious, basically.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, so, you know, Shelly and Bobby are discussing the finances. They're not going to be able to afford everything. And, like, they got $42 after everything's all said and done. $42. How am I going to live off $42? So she's like, I have to quit her job at the diner. Goes through all that. But Tomajura being Catherine is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
it makes so
hilarious.
much sense because, like, when Alec didn't want to reveal so much, because I always forget this part. And then I'm like, God damn, like, this is terrible. Like, this is really fucking offensive. Like, this is fucked up. Like, someone's clearly, like, impersonating an Asian person. I'm like, what is going on
You're
with
wondering
this?
if the show is just that racist of casting at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, you seriously are. And then you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, because after she kisses Pete and he fucking breaks the plate or whatever, Catherine, hey, you're
It's
alive.
me.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, well, at least that went somewhere better than I thought it was going to go.
Out your cock, Pete.
Beefsteak.
There was a cock in the percolator.
And by percolator, we mean
Pussy.
I was going to say vagina, but
Pussy.
if you want to say that.
There was a cock in the pussolator.
And then Nadine is hilarious in this episode because she's just fucking going nuts, like in this whole like persona where she's lost her mind. And I love when they go to the diner and they're like, "Oh, how long you been working here?" About 6 weeks, right? She's like, 20 years. 20 years.
Flying DeLorean. Haven't seen one of those in 20 years.
Yeah, basically. So
I'll see you again in 25 years.
no, so this is a good episode. It's fun.
We're going to talk about this ending, I guess, with one of the most horrifying things in these shows.
Did you just look at a watch that's not there?
Oh,
no,
the
I was looking at my fucking wound
I thought you were
that's on my
pulling a
hand.
Chevy Chase there.
that's one of the wounds from his cat attacking him, trying to take his
Clearly.
life.
Yes, attempt of my life.
No, the ending of the episode gets kind of gnarly after the whole fucking murder.
Well, let's talk about that first. Leland is like putting on gloves, right?
Mhm.
And he's like
talking to his niece.
I missed what happened to the mom. She was on the ground.
He's basically, it's implied that he's been putting her to sleep when he does fucked up shit.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
think he's
okay.
When he gets possessed, he fucking date
Yeah.
rapes her so she passes out and he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Bob basically, passes. Yeah, well, I don't know if he's using chloroform or what. They don't really imply.
I
You
think
just-
it's pills in her drink.
Yeah, you just
Well,
see that
'cause
she's
kinda
passed out
conscious,
anyway.
crawling on the ground, and then she's out. So
So he is fucking terrifying in this scene. And when he's in the mirror, I love that, seeing Bob reflecting back at him.
Oh, yeah. And that guy playing Bob is so good in this. Like, it's so fucking creepy.
He's great. He's a fucking set decorator.
Yeah, and that's
Poor
beauty of
Bob.
it.
It's great, yeah. He's terrifying, and he fucking chases her around the room. And I love how it gets in slow motion, and like the audio's all fucking distorted, and like it's zooming back and showing that it's Leland, but it's also Bob possessing Leland. That scene's just done so well, especially for like TV of the time. It's like you can tell it's very timely, but it works so well. And I also think I probably like it so much because of the nostalgia factor of, this definitely feels like some 90s TV horror.
Well, it works, and it still holds up because it's fun. You know, it's just
a terrifying scene to watch because you're like watching him fucking just corner her and murder the shit out of her and laughing about it.
Yes. Yeah, he's basically taunting her as he's doing through this whole thing, so you're getting in more into the lore and the weird shit now. And then obviously when he kills her, then he takes the fucking letters and uses an X-Acto knife and shoves up underneath the fucking fingernail, and you're just like, I couldn't watch. I had to fucking cover my eyes. Like, I can't. There's certain things that just gross me the fuck out.
Well, it's, because the other two bodies were found that way. Laura Palmer had one under her fingernail.
And that makes sense now after you see that, right? So it's little things that get payoff, and there's a lot of things that never get explained, but this is one of them that you happen to be rewarded by Mr. Lynch.
How funny is it, too, that the actress that plays Laura Palmer, Cheryl Lee, it's fucking hilarious. She gets to play two characters, and they both get killed. One's killed before the show even fucking starts, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, here you are. But that's also kind of unique, though, because then you still get a roll out of there, and,
Yeah. Well, then Fire Walk With Me takes place before the first season, so you get to see her last week is what they called it, basically. The last 7 days of Laura Palmer. I have the Fire Walk With Me VHS advertisement hanging up over there.
That's a beautiful advertisement, by the way.
I agree. I need to get that on VHS. And I did make an Instagram post today of the other Twin Peaks VHS I have, because I have the whole series, but just not the Fire Walk With Me yet.
So that's where we're at. So if you're watching along with us, this leaves Netflix on June 30th. So
Hulu still has it.
If you want to watch ahead though without ads, go for it. Unless you got the ad-free version of Hulu. So,
which I do.
I have this whole series in Fire Walk With Me on Blu-ray. I don't have the Return on Blu-ray yet. I used to, but whole situation there. Yeah. Hey, I wonder if Booger's on camera.
Yep. Oh, there he is. There's the good boy. Who's the best in the world?
Can I get a dog kiss? Oh, we're filming the dog kiss. Oh, you bunch of perverts out there. I see you.
I see you watching.
I'm getting a healthy kiss from my son on the lips like Tom Brady.
If we were on YouTube Live, you could get a tip for getting a dog kiss, I bet. People would be like, oh, yeah, we'll give you
That's
a tip.
fucked up.
Super comment or whatever the hell they call that.
Nobody
Super
commented
chat.
on Justin's headband he's wearing.
Oh, yeah.
Started work on the Frog Brothers cosplays we're going to be doing.
Yep, I got my headbands in and washed, so I figured I'd throw one on today. I've got our frog name tapes for the Ghostbusters mashup in, so expect some cool shit coming. But let's take it on home.
Let's take it on home. Oh, shit. What the fuck was that?
I think he hit his arm on the leg of the table while he walked over it.
Oh, poor guy. I think that
sucks.
Sounded like
a thud.
Sounded like his goddamn head smashed.
If you wonder what that was, Nick kicked the dog because he's an animal
funny,
abuser.
I am not.
We're about to kill him.
Say bye-bye to Nick.
I think that about covers everything. Like just, go to our YouTube if you haven't and subscribe to things. Also, join our Facebook group, Frog Bros Video. Search us up and hit request to join. We have almost 100 members already. I don't think any of them give much of a shit about some of the posts in there, but hey, come and join our posts.
There's some shit posting going on in there, but it's not like
There's
traditional,
good posts,
boring
and then
shit.
there's Nick's posts.
My posts are good.
About half of them are, and then half of them are just like random shit of a hand jerking off a corn cob, and I'm like, what the fuck is this on our page
that
for?
That was great.
No, that's a bannable offense. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, I know. I saw your GIF. Hey, I was trying to put something on there that I saw, so it wasn't sitting there with no content.
I'd rather have no content than shit.
There's plenty of people that like the corn on the cob video.
Anyway, subscribe to all of our shit.
Yeah, like and subscribe. All right, Boogie,
Peace
say
out.
goodnight. Quit traumatizing this dog. First you kick him, and then you drop your phone and scare him. I'm sorry, Booger.
Shut this off. Shut these all off.